Someone told me that people aren't buying event spaces like that anymore. And I laughed. Welcome back to another episode of Creating Habits. My name is Jarrell, and today we are going to talk about event spaces. And if this is your first time tuning into the channel, I want to let you know that here we talk about event space. We just talk about entrepreneurship in general, business, digital products, travel, because I love to travel, and a whole slew of things to help you get you some money and start a business. It doesn't matter what the climate is, the businesses and the models that we talk about here that I'm talking about are primarily they're going to get you through any climate. It doesn't matter if we're in a recession, doesn't matter pandemic, nothing. We actually opened up the event spaces in the pandemic, and I walked away from my job in the pandemic, so it doesn't matter what's going on. All right, so today we're talking about the myths and the truth of event spaces, because what I find is that there's a lot of just incorrect information out there, and so I want to clear it up for y'all. And so let's start out with right away a myth, right? Excuse my creaky chair. You need excuse my handwriting, y'all. So y'all know how when you go to, like, when you're Google like a restaurant, and it'll be like a certain amount of money signs to let you know how expensive it is. So this is a myth. You don't need a whole lot of money to start your event space. Like, there's ways to get the space without any money. There's ways to get the space with just a little bit of money. There's ways to get the space if you got the money. You know what I'm saying? So, like, you don't need a whole lot of money. So let's, like, do away with that myth. The truth, hopefully, see the truth will set you free, right? So the truth is, we'll write the truth, and we'll continue to write it in blue. I didn't really want to switch back and forth with the pens. So the truth is that you can start with little to no money. All right. So it's little to no money for you to start your event space business. Now, keep in mind that the spaces that you want to look at are anywhere in between 1,000 square feet and 3,000 square feet. So you want to look at you want to be looking at 1,000. You want to be looking at 1,000 square feet. You want to look at 1,000 square feet. That's what you want to be looking for when anywhere from 1,000 square feet to 3,000 square feet. And this is like the information that I'm telling y'all today, like that we're talking about right now. This is the exact same thing I tell anybody that comes through, that I've been saying since day one. And I'm not just telling you anything. It's because, like, I actually, my event space, they're 2,000 square feet. So I'm not telling you something that I'm not into it. And I'm telling you straight up, like, this is the same information I'm telling my mentees. Now, do people end up getting spaces that are bigger? Sure. But the only reason I say you go through these two numbers, because when you're looking online, you're going to be looking at stuff. You're going to see stuff that says like $30 square foot per year. And we don't want that. You know what I'm saying? We want to, if you see a per year number, you want pretty much anything under like that 25 feet per year $25 per square foot per year number, and then that's just gonna break down. It's a formula, but I mean, you can do the math and figure that formula out. But so like, let's continue on with the myths. Just wanted to get that clear though. This is what you're looking at: 1,000 square feet to 3,000 square feet. If you're like, that's like a common question. I actually just did a coaching call about 30 minutes ago, and it was just like, that was one of the common questions. Like, hey, look, what am I really looking for? And it's just like anything between 1,000 and 3,000. And is it a thing as something that's too small? Like maybe that can be a myth, right? Too small. The truth is, not really. I mean, there's nothing that can be like too small of a location, because you gotta think about like it's all about your niche and who you're serving. So if you're going to do, if you're doing like if you're doing weddings, you're not going to be doing weddings in a 800 square foot location or 1,000 square foot location, unless it's like literally like a super small intimate wedding, but you still can do it. So it's like it all really depends. Like when it comes to this myth, you know what I'm saying? People saying like, well, this is too small. Can an event space be too small, or whatever the case may be? People thinking that locations are too small. Like it all really depends on what you're serving. So I really want you to find your niche. Find your niche when it comes to your space. Like who's your ideal client? Who's your ideal customer? And what is it that you're going to be providing? What type of services? Like what are the events that you're going to primarily do? Another big myth that I see is that you need perfect. I ain't gonna write the whole thing out. Perfect credit to get your event space. The truth, no, you don't. That's the truth, right? Here's why. And this is not me saying that you shouldn't be working on your credit if you are. That's not what I'm saying. Work on your credit, right? But when you think of like perfect credit, you're probably thinking of like 750, 800, 850. You're thinking that you need that to get a space, and it's like, in reality, you don't. What you got to realize is that every landlord is going to have their own, like think of each building that you see that's owned by a different landlord as a different restaurant that has its own set of this, that has its own different menu. So think of each land, and this because I'm a foodie, right? So think of every landlord or building that you see is a different style of food. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you may have one restaurant they serve fried food, one restaurant they serve seafood, one restaurant they're around being vegan or vegetarian. So it's like every different landlord has its own like set of things that they're going to require or that they're going to offer, that's going to be the main thing, the main standard that's going to be within their lease. So some landlords may want you to have perfect credit, but some landlords, they don't care. They won't care, because what happens is that because it's a real estate transaction and it's a leasing real estate transaction, and because of the current climate that the world is in, the climate of the world, right? Everything right now is negotiable. Everything. You know what I'm saying? It's always kind of been that way, but even more so, like even more negotiable. So like what I want you to understand is that you don't need perfect credit. I don't want you to let that stop you. That's like, man, that is like crazy. Like so many people let that stop. Oh, my credit is this. And it's just like, okay, look anyway. Because if you don't have the credit, what you can do is find a partner. You find a partner that does have the credit. So like this business is this industry itself in itself is a multi-billion-dollar industry. So because of that, you could start off with an event space, then you can branch off and do event planning, then you can branch off and do decor, then you can branch off and do full on blown entertainment services, right? So it's like, don't think of like having a partner that they're gonna hold you back, because there's so many different lanes that you can go in once you get your space. And I strongly advise that once you get your space, you do the decor in it, or you do like something additional in it, so that you can sell additional, so you can really sell packages and you can make a little bit more money. Another, this is probably one of my by far the favorite myths that I like that people say, that you need a lot, if I can spell. Well, I'll say that you all of your time. You're gonna spend all your time in your space when you get it, because of bookings, right? People say, "Oh, you're gonna spend a lot of time in the space because people gonna be booking it, and you got to be there to watch the event, yada this, yada that," and that's not true either. So, crazy thing is that now this is like when we first started, right? Just understanding that, like, this thinking about. So I'm a former agent with real estate. I'm a former real estate agent, and so I would be taking people to see different properties, and if you've ever went on a showing for an apartment or a house or whatever, you go see these different properties, and the real estate agent 9 times out of 10 has a lockbox, but appointments are set, right? So you know that, hey, between this time on this day at this time, this agent said they were going to be there. So it's one of two things. You could have a camera set up, or since you already know and say you don't have any bookings that way, they got the lockbox, so you don't have to be there to let them in. That's one check mark. You don't have to be there to let them out. That's another. Now, who's to say that you can't ride past your space at the time that they said they're supposed to be out? Because it doesn't really take a whole lot of time, right? The truth is, it literally, honestly, if you do 3 events in a weekend, if you do 3 to 6 events in a weekend, so you do 1 event Friday, 2 Saturday, and so let's say you do 5. You do one event Friday, 2 Saturday, and then 2 Sunday, right? That's 5 events, right? 5 events. The truth is that out of those 5 events, you're probably only going to put in, especially if it's you and another person, but let's just say it's just you. You're probably only going to put up, out of those 5 events, 5 hours of work. So that's not a lot of time for one weekend, right? 5 hours of work. And it's honestly 3 to 5, right? 3 to 5 hours of work, right? So it's 3 to 5 hours of work for like 5 events. Here's why. So in your contract, you're going to, like, one of the favorite things, like my favorite thing in the contract is that return the space how you got it. Just put it back how you got it. And then what you can also do is that you can hire a cleaning company. Now you got this cleaning service. I hope y'all good with this stuff. I'm gonna erase to make me some more room. So now you got this cleaning service, and the cleaning service comes in and cleans the space in between the bookings, right? So that's why, like, when you first get the space, you gotta immediately get out there and you gotta start, building your network of like vendors. Vendors aren't just people who are going to, serve caterers and DJs and decor and event planners. No, vendors are more than that. Look at just build a list of business owners. Build a list of all the business owners that could potentially help you with your event space. A strong list of all the business owners, right? That could help you. And you always want to have multiple on this list. People to me, like, you can't just depend. Like, this is one of them things. Like, I'm a fan of like no plan B. Like, I'm a fan of like whatever the plan A is, just do it until you reach the result. But when it comes to your event space, I want you to have multiple people that you can call on to actually, help you clean it up, to cut down on the time, right? And the reason I say 3 to 5 hours of work, if you do if you get 5 bookings in a weekend. Here's why. So if you're doing it yourself, you're gonna come in there on Friday. You're Saturday morning. You might maybe you walk through the event just to make sure Friday night to make sure that they didn't destroy anything. Then you take out all the garbage that night, put it in a dumpster. You have them put. It was all about how you structure your contract. Cool. Then Saturday morning, it's good for Saturday morning, or maybe you have a cleaning company come in on Saturday morning. So let's say Friday night you spend 30 minutes to 45 minutes in there. So that's 1 hour gone, right? Let's say Saturday morning, there's nothing that needs to be done because you had another cleaning company. You got a cleaning company come in there and just run through it, right? Then then you have one event Saturday. Then midway, then after that event is over with, you tell them like, hey, look, same thing. You got to return it back to how it was. Say you have a cleaning company go through there this time, or say you do it yourself. Either way it goes, it's in between events, so you're going to move a little bit fast. So let's just say you spend another 45 minutes. Cool. Saturday night, same thing. They return it back, but you got to take out some garbage. Okay, cool. Let's say you're in there 30 minutes. So now we're at 2 hours and 30 minutes so far for 2 days, and we've done 3 events already. Then your event space is ready for Sunday, and with it being ready for Sunday, you don't even have to, you've gotten it ready for Sunday, so maybe you have to clean the company come in there, but you don't really need to because you already cleaned up, right? So it's ready for Sunday. So then there's an event Sunday morning, there's like a brunch, and then Sunday afternoon, say there's a day party, right? You're cleaning up again on Sunday afternoon, let's say it's 45 minutes. That's 3 hours. Especially if you got 1,000 square foot location, it shouldn't take you no more than like 30 to 45 minutes to clean it up. Like, honestly, because you're going to have like, people are for the most part decent. Not all the time. Now I'm going to keep it real with you. Not all the time. For the most part, they're decent. So it's like, it's going to be some elbow work, but it's like it's one of them things where it's like, you're not going in there chilling. You're going in there to knock it out if you're doing it by yourself. And you want to do it by yourself the first couple of times because you want to know how much time it really takes. So then when you do have the cleaning company, the one thing that you can do is now you can tell the cleaning company, well, hey, look, it's going to take this long. So can you just come in here and do X, Y, and Z because it takes this long? So I only need you, because you're going to have a lot of companies, like one of the ones that we've had in Chicago before. They charge straight up by the hour, like straight up by the hour. There's no real flexibility there, right? So cool. You tell them how many hours you want. They don't even have I think they have like matter of fact, no, they don't have a minimum. So they don't have a minimum, but I think it's like a fee for them to come out. So, because we've had them here we've had them in our building, and then we've also had them at the space, right? But I mean, that's pretty much what you're doing. Like that's why it doesn't take. That's a myth. Like, oh, you're gonna spend all your time. Because when people book, you're gonna have to clean. You're gonna have to be there. You're gonna do all that. That's not true. Like, get you a lockbox, or get you a ring camera. Get you something to automate the process. You want to automate the process because you're not looking to, especially if this is something that you're going to use to change and leave your job and leave your job, and then this is what you're going to work. You're not going to leave this job to work full time. You know what I mean? 40, 50 hours a week. No, you want to work this as minimal amount as you can. So I just showed you 3 to 5 hours in a weekend. So if you multiply that by 4, that's 12 hours in a month that you really spent in your space if it's just cleaning related. Now, of course, it's going to be a little bit more time if you do decor, if you're actually doing the decor yourself. But even still, even when you tack on that time, we still not talking about a lot of time spent. Reason being is because let's be honest, some decor jobs you're going to probably turn down if you're just starting because you're not going to know how to do everything. And then also too, let's say you may not have all the time to do it. So even if you tack on decor, let's just call it a solid 5 hours. That's 20 hours a month of work, and you're still getting bookings. Whereas in the average month, the average 9 to 5 person is putting up 160 hours in a month. I know I was doing, in some pay periods, I put up, some pay periods, it was crazy. In some pay periods, we put up 115 hours. Like if I was still working at my old place of employment, I would literally be at work right now. I wouldn't be recording this video. I would be at work right now, and it's crazy. Like I would be at work right now, and because of the time that it is, because of the season that it is, I'd be looking at 12-hour days in a store behind a desk right next to a person. Like literally, the person is at the end of this board type, like no room, no nothing, just same person every weekend. Like craziness. So yeah, that's another one. That's kind of honestly like my favorite one. The time and the money. Though time, money, and the time thing. Those are my two favorites. It's because it's not really a such thing as a space being too small. Even though I recommend don't go to. I mean, I know somebody who got a 600 square foot location. She be rocking it out. So I don't really think it's a thing of it being too small. It's just about what type of events you're gonna throw. Maybe you're a location that's known for paint and sips. Then you only really need enough for 20 people. You don't need a lot of space then. And then in that space, you also do bridal events for bridal parties. When is the last time you seen a bridal party that was 20 people? I mean, not saying it can't happen, but it's just like when you think about it, it's like it all really depends on your niche. Like, what are you going to be known for? What are you going to specialize in? Another myth that's out there is that it takes a long time to find a location. That is not true. Not true. Here's the thing. It's all relevant. It's all like relative, right? So like who knows what a long time is? It all depends on who you are and what you think a long time is that. But on average though, like on average, you're gonna spend like I've actually helped people get their spaces in 4 weeks, 3 weeks. So on average, you're gonna spend. It's all about how much time you put into the looking process. So like I've seen people get spaces in 3 weeks. I've seen them get them in 4. I've seen them get them in 8. I've seen them get them in 3 months. I've seen them get them in 5 months. I've seen them get them in 6 months. It all really depends on what's out there and what it is that you're actually looking for. Now, so like a long time, what is a long time to you? That's why it's a myth, because it's just like, well, what is a long time to you? Now, if a long time is 3 months, then it's true for you. But like general myths, like, no, it doesn't really take a long time. You could really find a space in 3 months. You can really find a space in 3 months. Like if you're really serious about looking, you can find it in 3 months or less. And 3 months is not a long time. Like just think like October, November, December. Like if you had to start looking at October, you would have your space like in the next month. You know what I'm saying? Because when I'm recording this, it's still November. So it's like just think about like it's relative to who you are, but overall on a general aspect, it's not true. Like it's just not. There were some extenuating circumstances that made our search process longer. During the process, we had a passing in my family, and so that's what made our process a little bit longer. We had some things. It was a lot going on during that time frame, but yeah, I mean it really doesn't. It really all depends. Like in certain markets, now what I will say is that certain markets are tougher than others, but you just have to approach it differently. Like I've helped people get spaces all over Florida, Texas, East Coast, Virginia. We talking Jersey. We talking Georgia. We talking Midwest. You know what I'm saying? Like a little bit of everywhere. We're talking North Carolina. We're talking like literally I've helped South Carolina. I've literally helped people get locations everywhere. So it's like it doesn't matter. Like it matters in terms of where you're at. That can kind of put a hindrance on your time. But at the same time, it all really depends on like how often and how consistent you are. Because if you look in 1 week and then you stop looking for 2 weeks and then you start looking again 1 week later, that doesn't count as looking for a month. That counts as you actively were looking for what, 2 weeks, a week and a half. So it's like really, really count the days that you actually go out and do the thing. And then those are the days. That's how long it actually took you. Don't count the moment that you started looking in the entire process, because during the entire process, you weren't looking. Like, let's just be real. During my entire process, I wasn't looking. Because like I said, we had some extenuating circumstances. We started. But like, it really is about consistency. Like, the people that are super consistent find their spaces fast. The people that aren't, that have doubt, that question the process, question whether or not they can do it, it takes them a long time. You know what I'm saying? But again, a long time is relative, right? And I'm trying to think any of my other more favorite myths. Oh, a big one. And this is one that somebody told me. And this is one we're going to end with. Event spaces are, if I can spell again, I don't know what's wrong with me, y'all, today. I'm a little tired. Are dead, right? What do I mean by that? Event spaces are dead. Someone told me that people aren't buying event spaces like that anymore. And I laughed, because they don't understand the market of the event space. They don't understand venues. They don't understand how, like, the business structure of it, where it's always going to be around. It's always going to be around because people always have birthdays. People always have bridal showers. People always are getting married. People always have bachelor parties. People always need a place to host an event all the time. So as long as banquet halls are going to be around, as long as people are getting married, as long as people have birthdays, as long as people have something to celebrate, there are going to be event spaces. So I want you to think about that when it comes to I want you to think about that. The truth to this myth is that it's, of course, it's not true. Plus, event spaces are going to be around for a very, very long time. You can't just wipe $1 billion industry away. It's kind of hard to do that, right? You got to think about, like, events wholly. Concerts are events. Like, your favorite musician, your favorite artist, that's an event. Lounges and bars, most like brunch places these days allow you to do what? Host what? Private what? Events. So it's like that event, the concept of an event space, of a place where people can gather and for entertainment for a private occasion, that's gonna always be there. Now, are they will the name of them change? Maybe. You know what I mean? But in terms of it just being wiped away and event spaces are dead, like, no, that's not true. So like, if you're on the fence about getting your space, don't be at all. If you want like a straight up like blueprint to it all, to get your space, to find it, fund it, everything like that, I got something down for you below. You know, straight up, I got like a crazy deal down below. A crazy deal for Black Friday down below. So and I'm low key taking the deal. The deal might be around a little bit longer than that, but I wouldn't even chance it if I were you. I would just get it. Like, it's a crazy bundle. But yeah, I mean, you can't really ever think that these are going to go away, because your birthday would literally have to go away for them to go away, because there are billions of people in the world, and like, people are always going to find some way to celebrate something. Imagine if you had a space, right, that had a rooftop location and multiple rooms in it. Like, there are so many different things that you can do with the event space, like whole business structure. Like people always talk about, yeah, you know, put a church in your space, put a this in your space. But what about other businesses? So yeah, these aren't going anywhere. They're not going anywhere at all. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Just like, don't let money stop you. Don't let fear of the size stop you. Like, just pretty much go for these two, 1,000 square feet, 3,000 square feet, anywhere in between. Don't let perfect credit stop you. Don't let thinking that you're going to have to spend all your time after people book because you got to clean and do all that. It's not true. Don't let the thought of that it's going to take a long time stop you. Don't let the thought of event spaces are going to be dead stop you, because they're not. Like, all of these are myths. And the truth is that you don't need any money. You don't need little to no money to start. There's not really a such thing as a too small location. It just depends on what you're going to do. You don't need perfect credit at all to actually start. You can actually start with little to no credit, to be honest. It just depends on what every landlord, again, has different requirements. Not everybody is going to say, hey, look, I want to run your credit. The majority, maybe, but not everybody. The majority is still not everybody. So you may stumble across someone that doesn't care about your credit. Ding, ding, ding. We did. Not saying that our credit wasn't together, but I'm just saying, like, the landlord didn't care about the credit. This is the key. If a space, do you think if somebody sees that you have the money, I want you to think about this. They see that you got the money ready to go. The space has been vacant. Every time a real estate owner, a property owner has vacancies, they're losing money. So if the space has been vacant for a year, do you think they want to turn away people that don't have the credit? Or do you think they want to take the deal to the person who got the money up front, showing them the money, can show whatever proof they got, and they're going to look to get the space occupied so they can stop bleeding money? Because if it's not occupied, somebody got to pay them bills. And that most of the time ends up to them. So that's why you don't need the perfect credit, especially in this climate. Right now, it's one of the best times to look. And no, it's not going to take up all of your time after people book to clean up and do all that stuff. Literally about 3 to 5 hours of work a week. Because you can automate the social media marketing and all that stuff too. It's really it's really not a lot. Like, it's not a lot at all. You can just hire somebody. Like, this is one of those things where you just hire someone to do the things that you can't do, that you don't want to do. But first, you got to kind of go through it to see what it's like, right? Then it's not going to take a whole lot of time to find a location, because it all depends on you. What's a lot of time, and how much time are you putting into it each and every week? Like, literally, if you do it, if there's a system and a way to do it to where you're not really spending any time and finding a location. And then, of course, last but not least, people say event spaces are dead. This is what someone told me, and I was like, nah, event spaces aren't going anywhere. And I think they were trying to say, well, people aren't booking as much. And I'm going to say that's not even true. Like, not everybody is afraid of the recession. Just as well, not everybody, like, people are still going out. People are still overspending. People are still going to spend their money on whatever they want. So it's like, if people like to celebrate, no matter what climate the world is in, they're going to celebrate. People like to travel, they're going to travel. If people like to eat out restaurant food, that's what they're going to do. So people are always going to do what they want to do. This is why one of the main factors why this event spaces are going to be dead. So, like, those are your myths. This is the truth. If you look for spaces that are 1,000 square feet to 3,000 square feet, eliminate self-defeating behavior, doubts, all that. You got this. Man, remember, click the link down below. Get what I got for you. And if you're not, make sure you follow me on all platforms. I'll link all that information down below as well. I'm going to be coming out with so much more fire information on event spaces. It's crazy, 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 crazy. Like, crazy for real. But in a good crazy way though. So, like, just make sure you got the notification on. Make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribing. And thanks again for tuning in, Creating Habits. We're on the road to 1 million subscribers, but we got to get to 1,000 first, and I need your help to do it. So make sure you subscribe. And that's it, man. Like, comment questions. Put your questions in the chat. Like, I'm answering your questions, you know. But yeah, I just wanted to create this video of the myths and the truth. Because, like, so many people, oh man, you need money, oh man, you need this, oh man, you need that. It's like, no, you don't need this stuff. So I got a link down below that you can grab a Black Friday bundle for to get started with the event space business. I'm talking, the bundle is crazy. Like, go check it out. So that's it. Peace and blessings. We out.